When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam.
You came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
Well, hello. Well, hello. Joe, you know this about me. I enjoy myself a good comic book. Let me tell you about one of my favorite comic book characters. Yes, Spider-Man, but I also love some of his amazing friends. And every Saturday morning, I used to get up and watch Spider-Man and his amazing friends back when I was a kid. And one of my favorite characters of all was the Iceman. Oh, yes, the Iceman. Bobby Drake, baby.
Bobby Drake.
Bobby Drake, the Iceman. And that kind of brings us into today's conversation and song of discussion from the album called Iceman, the hit song from Drake called Janice, STFU. All right. I have been eagerly awaiting your analysis of this song, Joe. It is well known that outside of Kraftwerk, this is one artist that you do not care for at all. And I'm not saying your reasons are not valid. I get it. I totally get it. And we're going to talk about it today. Sometimes I like seeing you with a little fervor in your in your points. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. This Janice, STFU track from Drake. You like it? You don't like it? What's up? Holla at your boy.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where apparently Toby has taken it upon himself to hijack the intro,
Listen,
the show,
I've had a Pop-Tart
the Marvel
today.
Cinematic Universe.
I had a Pop-Tart today. I'm feeling good. All right. I feel like I got a source of energy.
What's your go-to Pop-Tart?
I'm so glad that you asked. There's two types, right? You use strawberry with the frosting.
Yes, and
or the cinnamon
brown
one.
sugar.
Good Lord. Man, I will fight somebody for that. There's no question at all.
That's pretty much the only Pop-Tarts they make anymore, right?
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you eat it cold? Or do you pop the tart?
You know what? I definitely popped the tart for sure.
Well,
definitely. I definitely popped
show,
the tart.
Toby. Good show.
But I will say this. I remember when I was doing mortgages and we had to get to the office early, you know, to make calls and all that kind of thing. And I remember just walking out of the house. And I'm like, man, I need something, you know, to eat. My boy, we all be sitting there talking around the water cooler, right? And I would just pull a Pop-Tart right out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Just start eating.
I think you could do that with the strawberry. The cinnamon brown sugar, not so much.
Not so much? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that needs a little
something.
So I would much rather talk about our love of Pop-Tarts, or I didn't realize that Bobby Drake was part of the Spider-Man world. I just was associated with X-Men. So, was there some crossovers? Anything that we can do to not talk about this song or this artist?
No,
I'm here for it.
We're definitely talking about Drake today. We're definitely
because I did actually do some work today, and I was like, can I make an anagram of Drake from Kraftwerk? because they're about the same in my. In
I
fact,
know.
I would say that Kraftwerk is far more of a pioneering artist, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's just go down that rabbit hole instead, if you don't mind.
I don't
And
think
you can just
can.
tell me to, STFU. That's fine.
Won't do that either. This is a family program, so we won't be doing that either. At some point, you have to acknowledge that this dude...
You could just be like strawberry tarts for, what can we do with you? I got nothing. I need a you, Toby. Give me a you.
I tried to figure that out before we got
underlings. Strawberry tarts for our underling. Yeah, I got listeners.
Trying to create a backronym, not working. This dude just released a new album.
You're talking about Drake again?
I'm talking
about Drake. Is that what we're doing here?
This is a music program, so we have to. Drake just released...
Aubrey Drake Graham, is that who you're referring to?
That's right. Released not one, not two, but 3 albums at the same time.
I'm sure he wrote all of those songs, and there was no AI involved.
I don't think it matters at this point, Joe, to be honest. Because
I don't know if you can tell the difference.
Well, that and it is a feat. I have only seen a couple of times. I remember back in the day when Tupac released a double disc album, and everybody's like, "Oh, that is a lot of music. That's a lot of verses. That is a lot of time. It's a lot of recording." And I remember us talking about the Roots and how they would do like 100 songs and then just say, "Okay, we're just going to give you 14 or 15 and call it a day." Here's what I think Iceman did. This is what I think that Drake did. This dude recorded, let's say, 50 tracks, right? 50 tracks. Sure. And then said, "Hey, we're not cutting any of them.
It's all good because it's all the same anyway. So what the difference? It doesn't matter.
We're gonna put
the
him on
dude could
3...
record 50 more tomorrow."
Now I will say this: so he's got 3 albums. You got Iceman, you've got Habibti, and you got Maid of Honor.
Sure.
All right. Now, my favorite by a country mile is Iceman for sure. I cannot even get through Habibti and Maid of Honor. I can't get through them. I've tried.
Why?
It's not good. It's just not good. I mean,
what are you talking about? All of the albums were in the top 10. Like, that's a feat
we're going to talk.
no other.
We're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about why, because I have some thoughts on as to why. I do have some thoughts, and I will say that there's no question that he's a pioneer. There's no question that he's a pioneer, because I think releasing all 3 the way that he did and them charting like they are.
You mean okay.
This dude holds 90 career top 10 hits.
Yeah.
90 career top 10 hits.
I don't know why.
27 top 2, 5 top 5, 47 songs in the top 5, 90 songs top 10, 154 songs in the top 20, and 241 songs in the top 40. That is a lot. He's figured it out. Like, you love him, you hate him, he's figured something out.
And I think this is his 14th career #1. Do you know who that beats out for best all time for a solo male artist?
Is that Michael?
It is.
Oof.
So yeah, Drake is better than Michael. Stats don't lie.
Let's not say that. Let's not say that. Let's not go there. Right? Billie Jean is not my lover. Let's not say that. Okay. But he's obviously, but I think similar to Michael, Michael studied the game, and I feel like he had a very strong understanding of what sells and what does not sell. He's very one with the music. If you ever watch an interview with Michael, the one that kind of comes to mind is the one that he did with Oprah, and he's sitting there talking to her, and he hears all the different parts in his head, and he's like, "No, here the beat was like this," and he started beatboxing. It's like, this is Michael Jackson beatboxing right now, right? This is crazy. And I think that Drake, in his own way, has figured the game out to a certain extent, and his team has figured the game out to a certain extent, right? And it doesn't.
That's his talent. He's a brilliant marketer. He's a brilliant promoter. I don't think he's a brilliant artist. Unless you want to put art in that category of it's entertainment, which it is. and it's about getting, eyes and ears on your stuff, which he's definitely done. So if you're looking, I guess, for performance art, maybe he's one of the best. But from a music creator standpoint,
you just don't like him. And I'm not. Look,
that's 100% fair. That is 100% fair.
And I'm not going to fight
for him.
him.
I literally know nothing about the guy. I did some research for the show and whatever. I do have some thoughts, but I do not like his music, hands down. I think it's monotone. I think it's auto-tuned. I think it's boring. I think it's nursery school rhymes. I just don't. I think the flow is meh at best. That's how it hits me. I'm bored, and it's it's like Bobby is taking an icicle and shoving it in my eardrum. It makes me literally angry to listen to Drake. I tried at least half a dozen times to spin up one of these 3 albums, get through a handful of songs, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get to the chorus on this one. Okay. Skip to the next one. The same song. Cool. The new album. I just, it's painful to me, Tove. I don't get it. I don't get it. And so I've asked people, I'm like, why do you like Drake? Why do people like Drake?
Yeah. I think I can answer.
Enlighten me.
Well, I would say one of the things about Taylor Swift to me is that she is a brilliant writer. She is a brilliant writer, but she writes brilliantly over pop chords. And pop 100%. Chords have made it very, very accessible. All right. Now, let me tell you the way that Drake has made deeper lyrics, sub-disses, right, accessible to everybody. Everyone's attention is very, very short. People's attention are very, very short. But the way this dude has, in his production team, if you go all the way back to, Drake doesn't rhyme the same way he wrote before. If you listen to his album, Take Care and all of that, the production was different than it is right now. You can look at all that production and you start with Travis Scott and Travis Scott's song. I think that a song called Sicko Mode. From that track on, now.
Same producers on this track, actually.
Makes sense because his songs now have drastic and very abrupt changes sonically. And we're talking 3 or 4, at least 2 or 3 changes. And it's abrupt. It's nope, let me take that back. We're doing this. I mean, it's completely whoa, what just happened? What is that? Why did you, and why? I think instead of complaining about people's attention spans, he's played into it in their attention spans being shorter. Now rappers, the rap listeners' attention span has shortened over years. Because back in the day when we're talking about Masta Ace and Jay-Z's Blueprint album and all that, we're talking 3 verses on the track. 3 verses. That is now shortened to 2 verses. And now there are some tracks out there literally are 1 verse and a chorus and you're done. Or they might come in chorus, verse, chorus, and the song is over. I just think that he's found a way. He has found a way to attract that type listener in a way. And still, if people spend hours deciphering his lyrics, hours. The first 4 songs on this, I mean, there are so many disses in the first 4 songs. And I don't catch them all. I mean, but there's a cat, his name is Mickey Fax, right? He is a battle rapper. He is a prolific writer. He's fantastic and a very nice guy as well. I actually met him in Cleveland. He did a show out there. He's a battle rapper. He's fantastic. And, his pen is just stupendous. But he'll break down all of the lyrics for you. He'll literally break it all down. Line for line. This is what he said. This is what he meant. Here's the callback to this. Drawing all. So he'll do all of that. Yeah, his pen is great. Drake's writers or Drake's pen. It's top tier spitting.
I have some thoughts. One, I think I said he has nursery school rhymes. What I meant by that is I'm specifically talking about his flow. I don't know enough about the lyrics or who he's dissing or whatever to weigh in and say, wow, that's really clever, and I don't have time to do a deep dive into all of the, whether Kendrick or Jay-Z or whoever else he's pissed off at, to go down that rabbit hole. But it's literally like the flow, the pattern. Like, I'm just like, okay, here's a rhyme. We know the next line's going to rhyme. We know it's like, and when you combine that with that monotone delivery and the just oversaturated auto-tune, I'm out. So that's that. Let's, I think it's interesting. I just got an email today from Rune, which is, like a hi-fi listening service. And they specifically are launching a new product called Drops, with the idea being, wait for this, people don't want to listen to songs anymore. They just want to listen to the cool part of a song that they really like. And so they're basically saying, we're opening up this community. You can be one of the curators, and we want you to pick 15 seconds of a song that really hits you, and then we're going to start doing these drops as a thing. So we don't even have the patience to listen to a song anymore. And then I think that the third thing is Drake has, again, getting back to being a brilliant marketer. I mean, think of the name of the song, right? He's talking about Janice, The Sopranos. I think it's Tony's sister. I never watched The Sopranos, and now everybody on TikTok is doing, a post about Janice and who's Janice and why, whatever. And it's like, smart. Super smart. You tease it up, you leave it open-ended, you throw in a ton of disses and let it blow up. I mean, the song that he interpolated, the Lucky Lee song, was like light years better than this track. And so it's like, that's the only listenable part of the song. All right, I'm going to stop now because, I might go full Muppet and nobody wants that.
Obviously, Drake, like I said, I think Drake is a marketing, as you said, I think Drake's a marketing genius.
It's like the modern day version of Kiss.
Very interesting take. Okay. Do tell. I'm not the most familiar with Kiss.
Kiss is a marginally talented band that Gene Simmons turned into an icon because he was a brilliant marketer. The makeup, the merchandise, the more banal lyrics, some of them downright disturbing, catchy pop rock, 3 chords and a cloud of dust, throw in a nice sort of sensitive ballad by their drummer. Yeah. Like there was not a lot of substance to the music itself. There's some catchy stuff here and there, but you're never going to look at Kiss and be like, oh my God, those guys were amazing musicians, or wrote just these great songs that it was pure marketing. It is pure pyrotechnics, God of Thunder, wagging tongue, all of the thing, and go buy a doll and let's make a movie. And that was kind of let's be on, I think they were on Gilligan's Island or something. I could be making that up, but it was just, how do we get in the public eye as much as possible? And I think that's what Drake has figured out. I know how to get on TikTok. I know if I flood with 3 albums and 50 tracks, I'm going to get on Billboard. People are going to talk about it. I do like the getting back to, I think it was 2009. He had sampled the Luke Lee song, and then he kind of brought it full circle by interpolating this. So I thought, that's kind of cool. I just think he's just smart that way.
Well, it always helps to have a good rollout, right? Your pre stuff, and the rollout that Drake did, he did some things I've never heard from anyone else do, and have the kind of response that he had. So we're talking,
because I feel like Taylor's also a master at this. So what is Drake doing?
Well, the numbers show. The numbers show that Taylor obviously is a genius at this as well, right? But he did the ice block stunt. So he erected a massive block of ice in front of the Bond Hotel in Toronto. It sealed the album's release date inside. Fans and streamers used tools and even a flamethrower to break it open. And the streamer who successfully uncovered the hidden folder was awarded $50,000.
So can we pause there? I know he's from Toronto and Canada's cold, but like, where did this Iceman moniker come from? Is that new for him?
I think it's new. Yeah, I don't think there's anything
the
outside
Iceman
of Toronto.
Do you remember
Yeah.
the Iceman Cometh, that poster?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Wasn't it George Gervin? Was the Iceman? Am I making that up?
No,
yeah.
George, yeah.
Oh my God! In our middle school locker room, he's sitting on blocks of ice. He's got his hands on a couple of.
That's cool.
It's a great poster. I'll have to see if I can dig it up, and maybe we'll post it to our Insta because it's just makes me happy. But I'm pretty sure it said the Iceman cometh.
Yeah, I see.
And Drake is no George Gervin. I'm just saying that.
No,
he does not have that kind of finger roll.
That is cool. That's real cool. I like that. Yeah,
all right, I interrupted you. Okay. So he does the one stunt. That's kind of, all right, I get it. Good PR, good promo.
Yep. Then he did the triple drop, which is, a thing in itself. Obviously, you're going to dominate all the conversation. It's not one, not two, but 3 albums. I never heard anyone
LeBron
doing
when he went
that.
to Miami.
Right. And let's see. So he also did some kind of cinematic live streams in the months leading up to the album. He dropped 3 cinematic Iceman episode live streams from various international locations to preview unreleased tracks and build lore. And then he did some kind of Toronto takeover where he turned the city into his personal set. He performed and recorded inside Toronto City Hall while wearing the mayor's chain, which is crazy. He had the CN Tower lit in an icy blue and covering his courtside seats at Raptors games with the icy decorations. So he went to enormous lengths to let everybody know that, hey, I'm getting ready to drop an album. Now, I will say this. To me, Drake dropped 3 albums, and I'm not trying to be sacrilegious here, but to me, it's very similar to like the hip hop's version of Easter. Why I'm saying that is because this dude was thought to be dead after Kendrick Lamar's trolling, which was just ridiculous. I've never seen it. Like you're supposed to go away and never come back. No one thought he could do anything. If you asked a bunch of hip hoppers, like, okay, what's Drake gonna do after all of these songs that Kendrick came out about him? Nothing. You can do nothing. The best thing that you could do, expert advice, was say nothing, go quietly. You've made enough money, Drake. You don't ever have to come out with anything. You're good. And this dude found a way to put himself back in the conversation and have this many songs in the top 100, this many albums in constant rotation. He found a way for us to be talking about him, and we don't even want to talk about him.
I don't want to talk about him.
Right.
Hey,
but
let me ask you,
go ahead.
Let me ask you this as a kind of a, all right, take the whole Drake Kendrick beef. All marketing is good marketing. Have we gotten to the point where, back in the day, people actually had beef and, people died because of it? It's horrible. Is that still a thing? Like, do Kendrick and Drake really hate each other? Or is this just another form of WWE where it's like somebody's got to be the heel, somebody's got to be the face,
sure,
and pick your side. And as long as people are buying the records, who cares?
Yeah, I think there's genuine hate.
Genuine
there.
Really?
I think there's genuine hate there. But, it sells records, man. It sells records. It generates interest, and maybe it's not. Maybe they're just doing such a great job at whatever. Because on this album, literally, he talks about everyone, and that's one of the main complaints that some critics have. It's like, okay, dude, we don't need to hear your complaints about Kendrick anymore. We don't need to hear your complaints about, Jay-Z or any of the other people that you want to complain and talk about. In my opinion, I'm like, no, I understand, bruh. Because that song, and Not Like Us, was playing every day. They play that at the Super Bowl. Like, dude, you know what? Do whatever you want to do right now. Do whatever you want to do. because I understand. Listen, I get it. He wanted to kill him. Like, I'm going to kill you sonically, and we're going to do it this way. So I get it. You want to be, if he wants to be petty right now, he certainly can be. But, yeah. So the Iceman album, the first 4 songs I think are my favorite. After that, it kind of falls off for me. The other 2 albums are very difficult to listen to. I just don't listen to them at any point. We did kind of talk about this generation and their attention span is so quick, and you kind of highlighted on that and talked about like, well, it's not about listening to the whole song. It's listening to a portion of a song right now. It's interesting, you say that because, if you watch DJs on Instagram, it's not so much what song they're playing. It's all about the transitions. Mm-hmm. It's all about going from one song to the next, like always to the next, without fully enjoying a full song. I feel like in a way, like if you listen to albums like In Square Circle from Stevie Wonder, and there's several other ones that you just listen to. If you don't listen to some of them, it's like you're not gonna feel everything.
Didn't we talk about pretty sure we talked about the concept of Ma in the last episode, right? From Seven Samurai. Did we talk about this?
I don't think so.
Conceptually, it's the idea that if you don't ever, I guess, give a reason to care, then you don't care. So I think it literally comes from, and I why can I not remember his name? It's Kurosawa who did Seven Samurai, the director, but he like before the samurai or whatever go into the village for the big fight, there's a shot and a pan to rain hitting the village, hitting the ground, this just reset of the entire thing. So and it pans over the village. So you get a sense of like, there's a reason why this is we've gone through all the fights and the battles and whatever. And if we just kept up that energy, like a Michael Bay film, then at some point it all just becomes noise. You're just you don't even care anymore because it's just like, whatever. But if we pause after that buildup, reset the frame, reset the scene and say, this is why all of this matters. It's quiet. There's depth, there's richness, there's lives at stake, there's meaning behind this. Yeah, we're going to get to this climactic thing, but if we don't first let you understand why there's a climax coming, then there's no point. And that to me is what music should do. If all you're doing is the 15 seconds that whatever, then you have no context. It's all just noise because you don't have that ebb and flow of a whole album or even a whole song where you go through an intro and, does anybody even do bridges anymore? Keychain, whatever, like things that keep it interesting and dynamic and give purpose to each segment of it. So I just worry we're losing that.
Yeah, I think we are. I think, I mean, even if you look at, we're dopamine like addicts.
No
we're
doubt.
Dopamine addicts. I mean, even if you look at reality TV shows, I mean, before it was like, hey, reality TV show, and that was dopamine enough, right? We're always chasing the next thing. And now, like if you watch like Love Island or Big Brother, there's like, it's not just the people who were initially introduced. It's like there might be 2 episodes and later somebody new is introduced to the island or to the house or to the whatever. It's like, oh, I thought it was just about these 14 people. Now it's 16 people. And now we have a whole nother, now this person's coming from another season. It's like we're constantly, and I worry about that because psychologically we're always in fight or flight mode.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
And eventually it starts to wear you out. And this is part of the reason why we can't meditate. This is part of the reason why we have a hard time meditating, being still, because our default mode is now kinetic, constantly in motion.
That's another good one. Say that again, Toby. Our default mode is
kinetic. We are constantly in motion. We cannot sit still. We cannot still our mind and our thought. And I'll tell you one reason why, if you've ever had you ever had like, I don't know, maybe like a firework, like one of those smokers, like, like the long stick and it's got fire on the end of it.
Sparkler?
Yeah, sparkler. And you do like this and you're waving it around and you get like a little like after flare and the after smoke or whatever.
You write your name,
you do all the things, right? Well, when you stop moving.
Well, now I kind of want to know what other things you were doing, Tobe. You're like, all the things. I'm like, wait, there's more?
Listen, you mind your business, sir. You mind your business. No, but when
I had no idea your sparkler skills were so on point. All right, fair enough.
Listen.
Might be a Riffs After Hours conversation.
Or not. No, I didn't do nothing crazy with my sparklers. I tell you what, we weren't even allowed sparklers. What are you talking about? Not at all. Not at all. Anyway, so when you stop with those sparklers, right?
Back it up, Terry.
When you stop with those sparklers, the smoke catches up to you, right? The smoke catches up to that stick. What was behind the stick is now. So and when I'm saying like in reality, all those things you've been running from now have caught up to you. I think we're busy running and haven't stood still enough to kind of process some of the decisions that we've made. And that is, it makes me fearful, makes me worried.
100%. And I think it's probably the reason we see, people always talk about the younger generations being so anxious for all the obvious reasons. I'm like, look in the mirror, people. I'm old. I'm way more anxious than from to your point, like just the short bursts of everything coming at us all the time. And some of it self-inflicted, like, oh, look at me. I'm just doom scrolling and weird. I feel like crap now. Great. I just wasted a half hour doing what? Literally nothing. So, it just takes a hard literal reset, as in shut the phone off, as in disconnect from media, as in go meditate, as in go for a walk in the woods, like force it. And then because I think the other thing that we just miss is we never understand what that baseline used to be. Because if we're always up here, we forget like, oh my God, I do know how to breathe. Like, And, on the creative side, that's where all our amazing ideas come from, is when we just take that time to just disconnect. Like you were sitting out in the rain, not literally, but like not in the rain. You were covered while it was rain. I have not seen, like, other than when you came in ready to poke the bear named Joe for this episode, like, you were so genuinely happy. Like just a big grin, just literally listening to this crazy rain cascade around you. And I think we just have lost kind of that connection. We've lost the plot a little bit.
Well, I think everybody's different, but I know for me, I watch you, and a lot of times we'll message each other, and you'll say, "Hey, Toby, I'm walking. I'm in the woods, or I'm in the park, right?" And I'm like, "Man, that dude's in the park, often." And I think that's so awesome that you get a chance to get out there. And I know for me, like, my happy place is backyard, fire going, and just listening to all the sounds that are around me, and all the birds, the frogs that are in the back little, temporary lake that's back there, and just, that is my happy place. And I can do a lot of free thought, because when you're not in fight or flight mode, you actually get a time to slow down. I mean, everything gets processed a little bit differently. Even digestion, even just food gets digested differently. So if food would be digested differently, then of course your thoughts would be digested a little bit differently, where you don't have to make a decision A or B, like, no, maybe there is a choice C, D, and E. Like you just don't know, but you need to take time and actually have time to role play. I've been so stressed out in the past. I have not been able to actually role play a situation or a scenario. I don't know if you've ever been in that. Like, I'm just so keyed up where I
can't even get in the mindset.
I can't even get in the mindset to poke out the holes in this thing that I want to do.
Sure.
It's not because I love it that much. I know that there are mistakes in it. I know that it's flawed. I can't even think about, that's how keyed up I've been in the past. Like, dude, this is a problem. This is a problem. Like you need, and it was only through meditation. It's only through like breath work where I actually was able to sit still and think. And it's amazing. Once I do that, it's like ideas just come flooding. They come flooding to me. It's like, yo, do this, do this, do this. You know what you need to do? Tope, you know what you need to do?
This episode of Rips on Rips is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
It's time for you to move on. Your job, this is it ain't worth it anymore. If it's stressing you out to this much, maybe it's time for something else. You know what you really want to do, Tope? You know, the music thing? I know that you really want to do that, you know, but speaking might be the path for you. And you still get some of the same endorphins, right? The same dopamine type feel, you know, from just being on stage and talking. You don't have to worry about time, 4/4 time. You ain't got to worry about rhymes and memorization so much. You could actually have a slide deck behind you. Right. I mean, it's those things you need. Everyone needs that quiet because your brain is basically a computer. And if you're not turning your computer off every night, people, I'm telling you, you know, I'm not an IT specialist, but I know this for sure. You're going to wear your computer out.
Crash and burn. And then
it'll crash and burn.
A blue screen of death.
That's it.
Yeah, we're getting close to lightning bug season. I saw the first one yesterday.
Did you?
And
yay.
I think when we stop and look around, so right now I have in my front door, I've got a wreath which has finch eggs. In fact, I think they just hatched. And this is the second time around. So Mama Bird's been busy. This is her second, you know.
Daddy Bird's been busy too. Go ahead.
That's right. Interesting because I was mulching and doing all the cleanup of beds, and in the one front bed, right out. So finches are in the door, front bed. And I was like, why do these cardinals keep flying out of this bed, this, you know, bush? I'm like, there has to be a nest in here somewhere. I looked 3 times, didn't see it. Finally, 4th time, I was like, look at there. There's 2, and the cardinal eggs are a lot bigger. The finch eggs are a little tiny, like green and speckled. Cardinal eggs are kind of like white with brown spots, much larger. And the daddy cardinal's hanging out. Like they're both around. And then in the back, I got right there on the patio, I got a robin and they are like robin egg blue is a real thing. And she yells at me all the time. I'm like, I just want to sit here and write. She's like, I got to feed my babies. And I'm like, I'm not stopping you. I literally see you with a worm in your mouth and I see their little heads poking up. Go give them the worm. Like there's nobody getting in the way of this. And eventually she figured it out. She was like, all right, I'll do my thing. You do your thing. We're going to be okay. But I've intentionally forced myself to pause and take pictures of those things, right? Like just take a picture of the nest.
I was just about to ask you, are you taking pictures of this?
I'm taking pictures. Take pictures of the eggs. Take pictures of the little birds with their beaks open, right? I try to do it so it's not totally disruptive to the mom who freaks out. I keep waiting for one of these mothers to be like, oh no, I'm coming at you. Like and just dive bomb me, but hasn't happened yet. But how many times would we just miss that? And even if we notice, we're like, oh, it's cool, we got a wreath in the door or a nest in the door or whatever. And we just go on with our lives. Oh, I got to get to work. Oh, I got to, do the chore. I got to whatever. And it's like, it's not until we can stop and say, wait a minute, this is literal life being created in 3 very different ways, all within,
Steps
10
of
feet
each
of
other.
my house.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't pause to look at that, then what are we missing out on? Because it gives you an opportunity to kind of feel that wonder of like, holy cow, I've never seen this before. This is super cool. Like all the things that come with that. I don't know. I just would encourage all of us to, whatever your thing is, man, just sit in it for a minute. Just pause and stop. Just full stop.
And the thing I would like to say with all of that is that if you, like the first time someone might sit and be with nature and take pictures, it might feel weird. And that's understandable because maybe it's your first time doing it in a long time, right? Maybe you're doing it for 5 minutes and you're like, all right, this is enough of this. I got to go. It's enough of this tree hugging stuff. I got to go. I got to get up. And maybe you're meditating. It's like, look, 3 minutes, Lord, that felt like an hour. Like, oh my God. Look, they call it a practice for a reason, and you know what else they call practice? Law.
Auto-tune? Oh, wait, no,
that's
sorry.
But law is also called a practice. And I think it's interesting that law is malleable, is constantly, at least people's interpretations of it constantly changing. And that's why they call it practice, to kind of get it right.
Practice law.
You could literally be all in the right, but if you haven't performed and brought up certain points, you could lose said argument. There are people it happens all the time. And I think with meditation, I think it's the same thing. I think when it comes to being still, I think it's the same thing. When it comes to music, it's the same thing. It's the practice. When it comes to presenting to your peers or motivational speaking, like when we give presentations, it's that practice that really makes a difference. I mean, I gave a presentation a little while ago, and we had a group called Leadership in Novi, and I remember you were telling me, say, hey, Joe, I know you got a presentation to give, and it was only 2 minutes, but hey, you want to be, you want to practice,
give it a run.
Yeah, give it a run. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all. Why am I? This is stupid. This is stupid, Joe. This is dumb. But I said, wait a minute, what am I afraid of? Making mistakes? Am I afraid of making mistakes? Am I afraid of looking a certain way in front of my guy? Did it. And because I did it, the final presentation wasn't as good as I think is the version that I did to you, but it was still solid. It was still really, really good. I know that practice helped. I know that practice helped. I know that it did because, when things go off, when things go, they're not perfect, and nothing is. When things go less than perfect, things happen, you're going to default to practice.
True. Yeah.
You're going to default to practice.
I'm going to ask you kind of based on this. It's a totally unfair question because none of us have any idea. But based on whatever you perceive, do you think Drake is happy?
It's a really good question. I think it's difficult if you don't know him.
Of course.
Truly.
Like whatever answer we give is wrong. We have no idea. But,
there's a really good chance that what we see as Drake is completely different from what he is.
Yeah.
In which case, this is just, because he was literally an actor. Like, he literally was an actor, right? So, who knows? Who knows? I guess the only way I can answer that question is I hope so. You know?
Of course. Yeah. I have another question, and I haven't really formed it into coherent thought, but it occurred to me when I was listening to these albums specifically, and this has been going on in music, not just hip hop, but music, whatever. It's going on at the highest levels of global politics. Are we going to get tired of the look at me talk? Look at how famous I am. Look at how much money I have. Look at the cars I drive and the women that I get, and like the pure, unbridled narcissism that shows up in music. And given the world that we live in, where it's just running rampant through all facets of our life and influencer culture and like all of this stuff, are we due for a reckoning at some point where people are just like, STFU? Like,
Janice.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about, like, stop, because we're also seeing this further polarization of the haves and the have-nots, which is, again, nothing new here. But like, at what point are we just like, I don't want my music to talk about this. I'm living in this world nonstop. The last thing I want to do is turn on my favorite artist and be like, oh, great, you're another one who's telling me all that. Like, stop, just shut up. I don't want to hear it.
We are cyclical, my friend. We are cyclical. And the only question is your health good enough, right? And do you have the access to see the pendulum swing the other way around? We have gone from caring about we to caring just about me. 100%. And then we've hit that. And what I want people to do is, the answer to me is that perfect, like that balance, right? That harmony, if you will, where you do care about we, but in order to care about we, you got to care about me first, but not too much. You got to care about, you got to care about your neighbor. And if you care about your neighbor, then, a lot of this stuff, this nonsense just doesn't happen. It really doesn't. These fights that we see people in various city councils or various library boards, these things don't happen if you care about your neighbors. If you care about your neighbor, and if you love thy neighbor, then love means you got to listen. Parents, if you say you love your kids, it means you got to listen to them. I don't care if they're 5. I don't care if they're 15. I don't care if your kids are 50. If you love them, then you got to listen. And if you listen, really take the time to listen, not hear them, but listen. There's a difference. I think, you can change a 2-dimensional conversation and make it 3-dimensional and actually get traction in finding.
Develop a relationship, because
develop a real relationship.
I feel like I'm being heard.
It's totally different, dude.
Yeah.
It's totally different. So, I think that's what's got to happen. But I do feel, I feel more so than ever. I think if people are thinking like, oh man, music's just going down the crapper, this stuff sucks, it's like you're not paying attention.
There's always been plenty of good music.
There's so much stuff right now. There's so many examples of these artists that are using bands, and I'm not talking about like grunge bands. I'm not talking about like 3 or 4 pieces, which is fine. There's no disrespect to that at all. I'm talking about full bands. I'm talking about Olivia Dean on stage with like a 10-piece set.
I feel like Olivia has become our new Bootsy. I like it.
I absolutely adore that woman. And everyone knows it. Like my whole family's like, oh, he's talking about Olivia again. Oh my God. Like, hey, you know what? I think she does it well. I don't know what else to say. She's killing it. But, she's not the only one. There's so many artists out there right now that are going organic, Leon Thomas, right? Who's the other? I'm forgetting the other Leon that we've talked about. Texas
Leon
Moon
Bridges?
Leon Bridges is another dude. There's a lot. There's a lot of examples.
I think there's a, I could just let out a sigh because it's like, oh my God, I think we're exhausted. We're exhausted by AI. We're exhausted by media. We're exhausted by all the things, and we don't know what's real anymore. So the only thing that I know I can do that's real is plug in, I'm pointing to the drum set because you can't see the guitars, but plug in a guitar to an amp and make a sound in a room with people and let somebody sing and play with other musicians. And then let's just record that. And let's not even stare at another screen for 12 hours. Sure, let the recording get tracked or whatever, but like, how do we get back to, I think there's just a craving for that sort of organic, authentic experience. People are looking for connection in ways that, if you think about it, it's just really been going on since the pandemic. So we were locked down, and then we finally get back out into the world, and now we've got AI and the advent of fake everything. Sites like LinkedIn are basically unusable right now because it's just a bunch of AI generated slop drivel, like a bots talking to bot. Like, we are so desperate for how do I connect to another human being in an authentic and meaningful way. And I don't even know that a lot of people are aware of that until that kind of sneaks up on them. And then they start like, oh, yeah, this is nice. This feels good. Which is another reason I think why, look, you're 100% right. I don't like Drake's music. That's it. Period. That's all there is to it. I literally know very little about the guy. I've got nothing else to say. I just don't. But when I think about the just overuse of the auto-tune and whatever, I'm like, it's not organic. I don't need to hear more synthesized computer stuff. But
you feel differently about T-Pain though, right?
Yeah, but T-Pain did it like 20 years ago. Like, he was, you were talking about Drake being an originator. T-Pain was the originator of that. So I give him props for being a pioneer in that space. Like, you always win. Look, we talk about Kraftwerk. Do I like Kraftwerk? No. Do I give him credit for creating synth noise stuff that people seem to gravitate to and then sampled a ton of? Sure, absolutely. And you said this, and it's stuck with me since you said it, that Drake was one of the first to authentically integrate hip hop, rhymes with singing in a way that was legit.
Palatable.
But see, palatable does not mean good. It means
look, he's not Joe. He's not a good singer. He's not, but it's palatable. Listen, I can go to a
karaoke bar.
No, we can go to church on Sunday and find not a good singer. It's true. It's true. Look. Sister Abigail is not that good. She misses that hot, but she sings it with so much passion. Sister Abigail, we love her. Right?
Sure. Do you think Drake sings with passion?
I think he's a stylistic singer at best.
There it is.
At best. At best.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to remove the first two letters of his name and put an F in there because that's what I feel about the authenticity of not him as a human, him of his art. I don't know how much of himself he's actually putting into it with any sort of passion and vulnerability.
Yeah, I hear that. But I think also
I don't know.
But I think there are some people out there. There are some folks out there that want to sound, like Whitney, right, and sound like Britney, right. Instead, what I'm saying
that
that is
bad.
I'm just saying one is
don't
clearly
do like that.
Listen, one is clearly better than the other. I'm just saying people are doing the best that they can, and but he wants to make it palatable for others to listen to. So you do add effects to get the message out.
That's the takeaway. What is Drake? He's palatable.
Well, I do want to do a gentle pushback on.
I appreciate the word gentle. Go ahead.
You said something about LinkedIn, and you said like, "Hey, it's hard to have any like real connection with folks, because it's there's a lot of bots on there. You talk
absolutely
right. And so what I will say to that, I think that LinkedIn's a grocery store. It's Kroger's. You're going to find a lot of fake stuff. You're going to find Twinkies there. They sell the devil's cake. Look, you ain't got to buy it, but it's there. But they also sell the gluten-free stuff as well. They also have the fruit. They also have the whole full selection of vegetables and fruits to buy from. You choose what you want. LinkedIn, you got to sift through all the noise, but there are authentic conversations and connections to be had. It does take effort. It is not going to be quick. And it will, just like a grocery store, to buy authentic food, it's expensive. To have authentic conversations, it's expensive. Not money-wise, but in time. It will cost you more time to have authentic conversations, to have authentic relationship and connections with people. It will cost you real investment of yourself. And it will also cost you vulnerability. You're not going to have a genuine conversation unless you're actually willing to be vulnerable. Now, I'm not saying give up everything. All right. I don't need to know everything. Please, Lord Jesus, no.
Use some discretion. People.
This is not a confessional. All right.
Oh, God, right.
Right. But you do have to be willing to listen and to offer up, that vulnerability, that transparency in order to, to have that. So, that's what I think. That's what I've learned from LinkedIn these last couple of years. I've done a lot of recruiting on LinkedIn, and some of it there's a lot of garbage on there, a lot of garbage out there, but I've had some good conversations too.
No doubt. I'm just tired, Joe. I'm just tired.
I told you it was going to cost you time. I told you it was going to cost
like
you energy.
I only have so much time.
I told you it was going to cost you that guy. I get it. I get it.
I'm using all that energy to try and find good music on Spotify, which is another sifting process, which is, like 100%. There is always going to be quality stuff, and it is going to be a time commitment to try and get to it. I just wish there was an easy button to filter out the noise.
No, we don't need that. That's what got us in this jam in the first place.
That's fair.
That's what got us in the jam in the first place. I just want to
set up my own.
We literally got in this position because somebody said, man, I want to listen to all of these hip hop albums that were made this year at one time. Like, how can I, and you know what? I don't have all the money to buy all of these albums that I want to listen to. How can I, if Joe has it and Timmy has it and Brian, why can't I just borrow the music? Okay, Napster. And then what? And now where are we at? Like, I just want the real artist to survive and make a difference. And now we've bastardized the process so much. An album comes out and we can't hardly listen to an entire album outside of old heads like ourselves. We have a hard time even listening to an entire album. And honestly, folks, I'm being really transparent here. I guarantee you, if we stopped making this podcast, our listening of entire albums would probably decrease a little bit. This has forced us, like we've talked about this, how this podcast and our conversation has forced, I would never have listened to an Ella Langley album had it not been for us doing this. And that would have been a galactic mistake because I love her. Galactic mistake,
I do like that this show keeps us honest, for lack of a better way of putting it, because it forces, I did a poor job of it, self-admittedly, but I tried to, all right, take out your preconceived notions. Yeah, go listen to Drake. And I legit tried to get excited about it. I was like, people love this dude. They love his music. Yeah. I'm clearly missing something. What am I missing? Now, I will say, this Janice track, great production. Put it on. I was like, production it's mixed really well. Let me put it that way. I don't like some of the choices, whatever, sure. But I was like, wow, there is some sonic juiciness in there that's worth listening to. Doesn't move me, but I can appreciate some of the technical choices that were made and whatever. And so, but that's not really why I listen to music. I mean, yeah, there's lots of artists where I'm just amazed by some of that and it enhances the experience. but it's enhancing the experience of connecting to whatever that visceral energy of the song is, not the, wow, look at that amazing production choice. I'm not a sound engineer for a living. Like, that's not, whatever. So,
well,
but, go ahead.
Let me say this. Here's the interesting thing, because I do think that Drake's music, the level that he is writing on, I know he has like an ABC type style, very simple type style at times, but the level that he is writing on some of these songs and the subliminal disses that he makes on some of these tracks is like not higher level, but like higher level. Like it literally it takes studying to understand it. I mean, he's in, and here's the interesting thing about it. So, so he says all this stuff and he talks about Jay-Z, he talks about a number of other artists. Jay-Z at the Roots picnic recently has a retort, right? Allow me to make my cheers. Hold on. Tips a glass, with his fork or spoon and says, hey, I have a toast, and then proceeds to talk about all of the grievances that he has. And again, unless you are really paying attention to the lyrics that were said, and unless you actually do a little bit of studying, very similar to what the Swifties do and kind of read in between the lines, you are not going to catch it. But the stuff that you do catch, like, oh my God, these guys are writing on a higher level. And I'm telling you, I've never seen the greatest hip hop battle ever. It's got to be between Drake and Kendrick. I've never seen a battle that was that good. That was, like lyrically, bar for bar, the songs, the rate, they would come at the cadence of the release, the content, the beats, the angles that they were coming in at. I've never seen a battle like that. So Drake clearly lost, in my opinion. But
I think the world would agree with that.
Agreed. But it wasn't because Drake's songs were bad. It wasn't because of that. Like like he would have killed anybody else except for Jay-Z. He'd have killed anybody else, But man, that's just how good that Kendrick was. It's how good Kendrick is. So I will say that the doing a little bit of research, and I guess that's the way. If I were you, I would not approach it any other way than that. If I were you, you're not going to enjoy it sonically. These little tasty choices, they're not going to be enough to captivate you, right? The song might be 3 minutes. Joe, we sit on the toilet for longer than 3 minutes. What I would say is this: go and get the lyrics and have somebody break it down, like a Mickey Fax breakdown, and then go listen to the song. Do that in that order. Because that way, to me,
seems appropriate to do this on the can. Okay.
Yeah. See, there you go. That was good. I set you up. Voila. Magic trick. Look at that. Voila.
Point is taken. And I think the other thing is, look, I'm an old dude. I'm not in a high school or a college campus where I need to be up on this stuff, where I'm going to sit, at the lunch table or at a bar or whatever and have these conversations because it's my current pop culture. Because I think that immersion into being within the times of every generation is such a huge facet of this, where it's like, it's not the right comparison, but it's like that Desperate Housewives cult. Like, did you see what so-and-so did and whatever? And did you see what she said back? And so when you're living in that space and time and it's relevant to you or resonates with you because your peers are doing all of it, I don't have Drake conversations at work.
So you're saying it's kind of like a 30-year-old person talking to a 10-year-old about, like, hey, back in the day, like, hey, did you see who do you think shot JR? Right? Like,
nobody
who do you think
knows
did
that reference, Toby.
Yeah,
Nobody
they do.
knows.
Yes, they do. Look it up. Google it.
The show is called Dallas, people.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if
there was a reason for me to know about this stuff, I would absolutely know it. And again, this is why I appreciate this show is I love music. I'm always going to listen to music. I love new music. I love young artists, like emerging stuff, new sounds, whatever. But to your point, this forces us to listen to stuff we wouldn't normally, like Somber, great example. We did that episode on him, and then he's, started showing up on my Spotify feed. And I was like, this cat's got some great tracks. And then I remember on the show, I was like, I wish he would just sing a little bit more without some of the, and I went back and listened to his earlier stuff.
And it's like, he hurt me.
I was like, wow, he was doing that way before he did his newer stuff. And I missed the boat. So that's on me. And I love that that's what this does for us. It's because now I'm like, all right, I want to go discover this dude's catalog and whatever, because it's interesting. And maybe that's it. Like, thank God for all the diversity of stuff, because what's interesting to you is not interesting to me necessarily. That's all cool. Go find what makes you happy.
Well, I always like talking about artists that really, they kind of take my breath away. Like there's a song or something that they do that kind of takes my attention away. And I remember there's one song, I want to say his name is, she has a song called Leaving. And I think I sent it to you. And, or something, what is her? Well, I'm going to mess it up, but you're going to fix it with audio, hopefully.
No, we're rolling, Toby.
Dang it! Wait. People are getting back to this organic type music, and I adore it. Whether it's Jalen and Donga, right, or it's just any of the artists that we've mentioned here in like past couple of episodes. Man, there's good stuff out there, man. Really, really good stuff. But you gotta take a little bit of time, and you gotta listen. You gotta listen. And I was just listening to the. I sent the link to you earlier today about the Silvers. And Foster Silvers, and
that came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Who is this Michael sound-alike?"
Dude, he just died. He just passed away, and so they were celebrating him, and I was like, "Man, it was such a good song, and his voice. I'm like, his voice, everything. I was like, man, this is good."
It was Misdemeanor. That was it.
Yeah, Misdemeanor.
I was like,
okay. This woman's name is Jackie. This woman's name is Jackie Evans, and I love this song. It's called Leave You. Love it, love it, love it. I can't get enough of it, but it is very piano heavy. Like, I'm talking Billy Joel, like
wow, okay,
piano heavy. But that's her style. She's playing but I saw her on Instagram, and I was like, she's good.
Yeah.
She's really good. She's dope. She's dope, and it kind of reminded me, and she does some covers. She did a cover of one song by Lake Street Dive, who's like one of my favorite bands out there. And she can hit the notes, man. She's just dope. She's dope. She can handle it. And it just kind of goes to show you, it's like, it's getting to that time right now. Well, we are there. You hear a beat right now, and you're like, man, if I gave you, how sometimes if you've ever been involved in a crime, it's like, okay, ma'am, sir, I'll give you a lineup. Who did you see? Take the blah, 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 blah. And you used to be able to kind of see, it's like, okay, the sound sounds like this. I'm guessing, it's person number 3. 3 did it. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that with a producer. You can't do that with a DJ. Right? There are more female DJs now than I've ever seen, right? You can't do that with just from a vocal sound. You might think like, oh man, this sounds like a black church, like Southern church singing. And it will be an Asian group, right? Singing and killing it, killing it. Like, it's amazing. And it's all because of training. It's all because of access and
access
exposure.
to influences, exposure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all of that, and it's a beautiful thing, man, because it just means, they like it so much. This person, this individual, this group, or whatever, they like it so much, they want to do it, and they're doing it, and as long as you give respect and props to the people that did it before, do it. If you feel it like that,
what better way to honor than to be like, oh, Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
I totally agree. I mean, like, watching Leon Thomas play this new type of blues, in my opinion, like this R&B, this is rhythm and blues. This boy's coming with the blues, man. Who cares if it's a drum track? Who cares if it's real? Who cares? Like, this dude's he's singing with it. Like, he's bringing it. Who cares if there's a sample in the background? It's still blues. It's still in the soul. I like it.
So I like that you, probably unbeknownst to you, introduced a new closing segment, which is What Is Toby Listening To? That most people haven't heard of, and Jackie Evans. So listeners, go check out Jackie Evans. I know I will. And I think similar vein, Tobe, I know you're a classical music fan, and I know you appreciate good piano. And I'm not even sure how I landed on, again, it was whatever. And I did a deep dive, and a woman's name is Poppy Ackroyd. And she's a pianist, kind of a new version of, I wouldn't even call it classical, just beautiful compositions. And I know she plays piano and also violin, but if you watch some of her videos, she's playing, and then she's also reaching into the and plucking the strings on the piano as well as playing the keyboard at the same time.
What's her name?
Poppy Ackroyd. And I've just fallen in love with her catalog. She just came out with a new album. I think her first one was, I forget what it was called, but they're just beautiful. It's interesting because I think part of it was I was trying to find music to write to. Lyrics can be very distracting to me, and maybe that's how it first came up.
Well, let's talk about what you were writing. Let's do that. Because if you're writing song lyrics, of course, anything musical is going to be. But you're talking about writing your book, yes?
Yeah, writing the book.
Okay, got it.
Or even doing work writing. But the beauty of her stuff is I can have it and it's a great sort of sonic backdrop. And then I've spent tons of time just sitting in the speakeasy, just listening, because the compositions are that interesting. And it's like, oh, there's some real beauty going on here and some depth to kind of, which is sort of weird because I wouldn't necessarily equate that to solo piano pieces, or even if there's a couple extra instruments or whatever. But I just think it's great stuff. So go check her out too. Those are our two recommendations for the listeners today.
Awesome. Well, hey, it is definitely time for us to stop waxing poetic and get out of here so that you can listen to these tracks and also listen to all three of Drake's albums and let us know what your opinion is. Yeah. But hey, as always, we certainly appreciate everyone that's listening. Everyone that checks us out, week in and week out. Hey, I know that we had a little bit of a delay with some of the life's been lifing. Life has been lifing. So,
and some of that delay has bled over into updating the website and some of the things that we're definitely going to get to this summer. But we appreciate your patience. And honestly, we're looking forward to more ways to authentically connect with you and continue those conversations offline or whatever you call it when you're not listening to this show.
Awesome. Well, hey, Joe said it the best. Joe said it's the best. So we're always looking for ways to connect with us. So keep listening.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.